Hey guys, Enzo Flojo here, and this is the Mabuhay Basketball Podcast, the only show that brings you the latest scoop on everything basketball here in the Philippines. Whether you're a diehard fan, a casual observer, or just looking for some good old-fashioned hoop talk, you've come to the right place. So whether you're a fan of the PBA, the UAAP, the NCAA, Gilas, or any other league in the Philippines, we've got you covered. And if you're just discovering the exciting world of Philippine basketball, we're here to guide you through every dunk, crossover, three-pointer, and controversial college transfer. So get ready to be entertained, informed, and inspired as we delve into the world of Philippine basketball. This is the Mabuhay Basketball Podcast. Let's talk some hoops. Hey guys, Enzo Flo here again, and this is the Mabuhay Basketball Podcast. In this episode, we'll share our reaction to the actual FIBA World Cup draw, look at the groupings, and give way too early predictions about how the FIBA Basketball World Cup might actually go. It's going to be in August and September here in the Philippines, and Japan and Indonesia as well. As always, we're going to try and spotlight some fan reactions or fan comments as well. In the first part of this pretty long episode, the first part we talked about the production itself, the actual event, the great stuff that the SBP and our local organizing committee, they were all able to do. I think it was well executed, but now we're going to focus on the actual draw itself. So we had 32 teams drawn into, I think it was 8 different groups. Right? So they had 8 different pots throughout the entire process, and then we had those 32 teams eventually drawn into 8 actual groups as well. 2 groups will be based here in Manila. 4 groups in Manila. 2 groups will be playing their group games, their first and second round games in the Smart Araneta Coliseum. 2 groups will be playing their group games at the Mall of Asia Arena. 2 groups are going to be based in Japan, playing their games in the Okinawa Arena, and 2 groups will be based in Indonesia and Jakarta, playing in the Indonesia Arena for the first 2 rounds of the group stage. We're going to talk about the format a little later when we actually make our predictions already. But for now, we're going to focus on the actual draw itself. Okay, so there were several teams that were already what we call pre-allocated to other groups. So we had the Philippines as main host, already pre-allocated to Group A, and the Philippines will be playing all its first and second round games, if we make it to the second round, in the Smart Araneta Coliseum. And then, as the main host, we chose a team that would be based here in the Philippines, another team. And of course, not surprisingly, we chose Team USA to be here based in Manila as well. So for these I think these are about 2-3 weeks, Team USA, and of course they're going to go far in the tournament, they're going to be based exclusively in Manila. So just imagine all the media mileage and all the NBA stars that are going to be here for that, right? Team USA was pre-allocated to, I think it was Group C. And they're going to play all their first and second round game. Actually, they're going to play all their games because I'm sure they're going to reach the knockout stage eventually. And they're going to be playing in the Mall of Asia Arena, all their games. And then, the other pre-allocated teams are, of course, the other host, Japan. Okay, they were allocated, of course, to Group E. They're going to be playing in Okinawa. And the team they chose to be in their country was Slovenia. Of course, they want to leverage the celebrity power of Luka Doncic. So that's a wise choice from Japan. And we're hoping that Slovenia advances so we can see Luka in Manila as well. And then for Indonesia, because Indonesia is not playing in the World Cup, they were not able to qualify. They chose Canada to be the team pre-allocated to their country. So they also want to leverage all the Canadian NBA stars. So we're talking about Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, Andrew Wiggins, Dylan Brooks. If you can, he's not a star, but he's certainly a personality, right? So if Canada has enough players to fill an entire 12-man roster full of NBA players, so that'd be good for Jakarta if Canada's able to do that, right? So all those teams, those 5 teams, Philippines, USA, Japan, Slovenia, and Canada were all pre-allocated already. That means that only 27 teams were actually going to be part of the actual draw itself. Okay? Well, all 32 teams were part of the draw, but all the remaining 27 teams would be allocated during the draw and not pre-allocated. All right. So after all the ceremonias of the draw, this is how it came out. Okay. So in Group A, you have Angola, Dominican Republic, the Philippines, and Italy in Group A. And in Group B, you have South Sudan, Serbia, China, and Puerto Rico. Both these groups will be playing in the Araneta Coliseum. Okay, now, obviously, I want to react to the Group A group first. This is very interesting. Almost the ideal for us. You know, I felt like not an easier one, but maybe a more manageable one. On paper, at least, a more manageable grouping would have had maybe New Zealand instead of Dominican Republic, and then maybe Ivory Coast instead, or Cote d'Ivoire instead of Angola. But this is still a relatively manageable group. Definitely not a winnable group with Italy right there, but at full strength, we have a fighting chance, I think, against Dominican Republic. And we should be a slight favorite over Angola. If we're at full strength, everyone's healthy, and of course, because we have home court advantage. So I think we have a puncher's chance of maybe going past the first round because of this grouping. And I certainly hope we are able to do that. Right? If we go past the first round, anything beyond that is gravy already for Gilas, I think. Group B, you have South Sudan, Serbia, China, Puerto Rico. Obviously, Serbia is going to be the favorite here with Nikola Jokic, Bojan Bogdanovic as well, because Bogdanovic is the one in Croatia. Is that right? So Nikola Jokic, one of the Bogdanovic's is going to be there. China is going to be interesting. They're going to have their first naturalized player ever in Kyle Anderson. He does have Chinese heritage because reportedly his grandmother, I think, was from China, but he'll be counted as a naturalized player. Okay? In Puerto Rico, of course, their highest finish in the World Cup was 4th place. They've been to, I think, at least 16, 17 World Cups in the past. So, you know, if I were going to rank Group B, I think Serbia would be at the top. Puerto Rico would be second for me, and then maybe China with a fighting chance of advancing, and South Sudan would be at number 4. All right, but the thing is, in the World Cup, when you say number 4, that doesn't necessarily mean they're going to be blown out of every game. This is the World Cup already. Obviously, Gilas in 2019 we did get blown out in almost every game, but still, in this edition, I think there's going to be a bit more parity across the board, you know, throughout all the groups. So those are the 2 groups that will be at the Araneta Coliseum, and I'm kind of predicting that from Group A it's going to be Italy and hopefully the Philippines advancing. From Group B, I kind of predict it's Serbia and then Puerto Rico advancing. Okay, then we're going to move on to the Mall of Asia groups. Okay, Group C, we have Team USA, Jordan, Greece, and New Zealand. So this has a lot of star power. Obviously, for Greece, you have the Antetokounmpo brothers led by Giannis. So the Greek Freak's going to be here. Hopefully, nobody asks him some crazy questions in post-game pressers, especially if they lose or when they lose, because they're definitely going to Team USA here. New Zealand and Jordan, I think, are definitely on paper the teams that will probably not advance from this group. Obviously, if Steven Adams plays for New Zealand, which is unlikely, but if he does, that's going to give them a really good front line, him and Isaac Fotu, but I don't think that's going to happen. For Jordan, Jordan's a good team at the Asian level. At the world level, they're going to need, if they're going to stick with Dar Tucker, he needs to score maybe 40 a game for them to even have a chance of winning against Greece and Team USA here. Of course, Team USA, they're going to be the favorites here, absolutely. I'm not sure who's going to play. I want to check the stats here from the NBA. This is from hoopstats.com, okay? And this is arranged by simple player efficiency. So, Jokic definitely not going to play for Team USA. Joel Embiid might play for Team USA because I think Joel Embiid has 3 nationalities, right? He is Ivorian, right? He was Cameroonian. Sorry, my bad. He's Cameroonian, but he also holds French nationality and very recently American nationality as well. So he's a triple citizen, a citizen of the world. I think he's going to play for France though, so we'll see. Anthony Davis, I'm not sure if he's going to play. I have a feeling the Lakers are going to go deep in the playoffs this year, so I don't think they're going to take a chance on allowing AD to play the World Cup. KD, maybe he's going to play. He's had history of playing for Team USA, so I won't be surprised if he plays, and I hope he does. Dame, not so sure, but maybe he does. Tatum, I think, will be there. LeBron, probably not. Steph, I think if the Warriors get eliminated early, and I think they might. Jimmy Buckets, man, I think a lot of Miami fans in the Philippines would want to see him play. So I think these big names have a good chance of playing, but whoever the 12 are going to be for Team USA, they're definitely going to be the favorites in Group C to advance. In Group D, we have Egypt, Mexico, Montenegro, so that's Nikola Vucevic's team, and Lithuania, that's Domantas Sabonis' team. So we got some interesting players here. We have Vuc from the Chicago Bulls playing for Montenegro, and we got Jonas Valanciunas and Domantas Sabonis playing for Lithuania. And I think Lithuania, on paper, should be the favorites here, followed by Montenegro, and I think Egypt and Mexico, on paper, are going to be the odd teams out of Group D. So for Group C and D, I have Team USA and Greece advancing, and for Group D, I have Lithuania and Montenegro moving on. Now, those 4 groups in Manila are more or less kind of like our straightforward groups, okay? The ones in Okinawa and Jakarta are the ones that are going to be much tougher to kind of predict. For Group E, we have Germany, Finland, Australia, and Japan. I feel both good and bad for Japan. Good because they're going to get a lot of NBA stars here. They're going to get Dennis Schroeder. They're going to get the Wagner brothers. They're going to get Lauri Markkanen. If Australia is at full strength, you're going to have a lot of Australian players there. Maybe an Andrew Bogut sighting, maybe a Delhi sighting, maybe a Ben Simmons sighting. I expect Jock Landale to be there, Joe Ingles, Patty Mills, all those guys. And of course, for Japan, I'm sure they're going to be at full strength. We're going to see Yuta Watanabe, Rui Hachimura. I hope we see Keisei Tominaga as well. And then I hope that Yudai Baba shows up. And I think that's going to be... I think Group E might actually be the toughest group of the entire bunch. At least 1 through 4. Each team here has at least one NBA talent. And man, it's going to be tough. I think Australia is at full strength. Should be the favorite to top this group. But second place is going to be a toss-up. Because at full strength, Japan has beaten Australia before. Finland's going to be tough even if they have just Lauri Markkanen as their NBA player. And Germany, if they have all their main guys, in terms of star power alone, man, that's tough. I want to see Japan get second. I'm going to predict Japan here. Australia, and then Japan. I think the game's going to be tough, but they're playing at home. I think that's going to be a big factor for Japan. So I'm picking Australia and Japan to come out of Group E. 2 FIBA Asia teams. That's going to be interesting. Group F, of course, you have Luka Doncic, Goran Dragic for Slovenia. You have Cape Verde, Georgia, Venezuela. Let's try and see if there are any international basketball players from Cape Verde and Venezuela we have to talk about. For Cape Verde, no one. So it's just Edito Virus before, so that's not going to happen. From Venezuela, you have a lot actually, but no one who's currently, well, Grievous Vasquez might play, we don't know. But no one who's currently playing in the NBA right now. For Georgia, okay, let's see. Oh, so we do have. Okay, we have Goga Bitadze and Sandro Mamukelashvili. All right, okay. Plays for the Spurs. I think he's nicknamed Mamu. So those two guys are going to be interesting for Georgia. So by that alone, I would say the 2 European teams are going to be the favorites here, Slovenia and Georgia. So from Group E, I have Australia, the Boomers, and the Akatsuki 5 advancing. From Group F, I have Luka and company, and I have Georgia advancing as well. Okay? And then, over in Jakarta, you have Groups G and H. Group G has Iran, defending champion Spain, Cote d'Ivoire, and Brazil. All right. Obviously, Spain's going to be the runaway favorites here. They should sweep this group. I think Iran should be like maybe 3rd place here. Cote d'Ivoire might be 4th. And Brazil, for me, should be 2nd place. Let's see if, I'm not sure if there's still any Brazilian players currently active right now. I don't think so. Only Raul Neto is the one who's active right now. As for Ivory Coast, there's no one. So I think this is going to be an interesting group. Easy group for Spain, I would say. And Brazil should advance to the 2nd round. In Group H, tough group because you have 3 teams that are legitimate powerhouses, I would say. And Lebanon, I'm sorry for my Lebanese friends, but Lebanon I think is going to be the odd team out here. Canada is my favorite here to advance. Let's look at the list of NBA players that the Canadians can put out there. There are a ton, obviously. Okay, I mean, you look at all these guys in green. Nicole Alexander-Walker, Delano Banton, RJ Barrett could be there. Chris Cambridge, Chris Boucher, Dylan Brooks. Man, that'd be awesome if he plays here. Brandon Clark, Lou Dort, SGA, Corey Joseph, AJ Lawson, Trey Lyles, Benedict Mathurin of the Indiana Pacers, Jamal Murray of the Nuggets, who's tearing it up in the playoffs. I mean, all these guys, if all of them play, that's going to be a very, Kelly Olynyk as well. This is going to be a very, very good Canadian team, I would say. So, they're the favorites here. Latvia, of course, you have Kristaps Porzingis. France, you have a ton of NBA players as well. Of course, the guy we want to see is Victor Wembanyama. Aside from him, Nicola Batum. You have Moussa Diabate, Ousmane Dieng, Evan Fournier, Rudy Gobert, Killian Hayes from the Pistons, Theo Maledon, Frank Ntilikina as well, Olivier Sarr. So many French players who might show up in Jakarta. That'd be pretty awesome. I think at full strength, I would say Canada's the favorite. Remember, Canada went 11-1 in the qualifiers. They're really, really good and motivated. And France would be 2nd out of Group H. My group of death would be Group E. And by group of death, I mean all 4 have a chance to advance. Okay, Group H is tough, but Lebanon, only 3 of those teams have a chance to advance, right? Lebanon won't advance in that group. Group F is also tough, but Slovenia is a clear favorite. In Group E, I'm not sure if you have a clear favorite. I think Australia is a slight favorite over everyone else. But Group E, all 4 teams on paper have NBA talent. All 4 teams on paper are good enough to actually advance as well. let's look at the answer. Look at the comments of some people here. From my friend from Australia, from Kazakhstan, Nico Mikalchuk, actually, or from New Zealand. For him, New Zealand group is very, very tough. Group C, obviously, we have Team USA and Greece right there. Those are tough opponents for New Zealand. For Paul Dolor, it's Group H. That's tough. For Akosiboyet, it's Group E, and I agree, it's Group E. So some people say it's H, some people say it's E. Audriel says it's C, H, and E. Group C, I think, is tough if you are Jordan or New Zealand. But if you look at all four teams, you have two clear favorites in Group C. All right, so that's going to be very, very interesting. Okay, so those are the tough groups right there. But again, to kind of recap, I think the Philippines and Italy should come out of Group A, Serbia and Puerto Rico, Group B, USA and Greece in Group C, Lithuania and Montenegro in Group D. I would say Australia and Japan in Group E, Slovenia and Georgia in Group F, Spain and Brazil in Group G, and Canada and France in Group H. And then labo-labo na yan in the second round. The second round is going to be two groups again. So you have four groups. Okay, you have the Araneta group, the MOA group, the Okinawa group, and the Jakarta group. 4 teams in each. They're going to battle each other, and then the top 2 in each group move on to Manila for the knockout phase in the quarterfinals. Okay? So there you go. It's going to be very, very interesting how that goes. All right? Now, a few days ago, I predicted the groups. And interestingly enough, yesterday when I was watching, 21 out of 32, which is about 65%, I guess. I got that correct. 65% of the actual groupings I predicted, quote unquote, pretty well. No, group completely correct predictions for groups E and C, almost correct for groups A and G and F. Group H, I only got 2 correct. For B and D, I only got 1 each correct in those groups. So again, toughest group for me is Group E. Weakest group in terms of there's a clear favorite. I think it's Group G, Spain. I mean, it's because of the difference between Spain and the other countries in that group: Iran, Ivory Coast, and Brazil. Brazil is a strong team, but the NBA level talent of Spain and the EuroLeague talent of Spain, it's just crazy. You have Santi Aldama, Usman Garuba, the Hernan Gomez brothers for Spain, Ricky Rubio, obviously, and then you have your EuroLeague stars who are experts of international basketball. Those guys are really gonna make life tough for everyone else in Group G. So for me, that is the weakest of the group. My title favorites here are, well, we'll see. Let's look at the format first. So after the group stages, we have, the second round. Okay, so the Araneta group will be Group I. Group J will be the MOA group. Okay. Group K is the Okinawa group, and Group L is the Indonesia group. So let's predict. And only the top 2 in each arena are going to move on to the final 8. So I would say if we're going to pick the top 2 teams from the Araneta group, that's going to be Serbia and Italy for me, objectively speaking. Okay. For the MOA group, obviously it's going to be Team USA, and I think maybe Greece actually could still slide in there. Okay, so for me it's going to be Team USA and Greece advancing from Group C and advancing from Group J. In Group K, the Okinawa group, I have Australia and Slovenia advancing. Okay, and the Jakarta group, Group L, I have Spain and Canada advancing. So France for me is going to be the odd man. Obviously, they have a chance to upset Spain, but I don't think they will do that. I think it's going to be Spain and Canada advancing from Group L. So our final 8, our final 8 teams, I think it's going to be Team USA. No. It's gonna be 1I. So that's gonna be, I think Serbia is gonna be 1I. Going up against 2J, I think is gonna be Greece. So Serbia and Greece here. Then 1K, 2L. I think 1K will be Australia. Australia against Canada in this other pairing. And then Team USA, I think, will go up against Italy in the quarterfinals. And then I think it's going to be Spain going up against Slovenia in this pairing, which is going to be absolutely crazy. Okay, so that's kind of how I predict things are going to be. All right. And I think eventually, it's tough to call. I think we're going to see Serbia. Serbia, Canada in this matchup here. Then USA, France in the other semifinal, which is going to be crazy. Because USA, France is good enough to be. USA, Spain is going to be good enough for the finals. But I think it's going to be Serbia, Canada in semifinal 1. USA, Spain in semifinal 2. All right. And then it's going to be, I think we're going to have an all-Americas affair. Canada against the US in the battle for gold. If Canada's at full strength, that's going to be awesome. All right, so we'll see what happens. But those are my predictions for the FIBA Basketball World Cup after the draw last night. In our next episode, we're going to talk about Guinness' Group A group. In particular, we're going to medyo hihimayin natin yung Italy, yung Angola, and hihimayin din natin Italy, Angola, and the Dominican Republic as well. And we'll see what the chances are of the Philippines actually advancing from Group A. So again, if you like this episode, please just, continue tuning in because we have more episodes just like this one. Our next episode is going to be tomorrow. So watch out for that. Mabuhay ang Philippine basketball. Mabuhay tayong lahat. Again, thanks for tuning in to this episode of the Mabuhay Basketball Podcast. We hope you enjoyed listening as much as we enjoyed creating it. So don't forget to follow, like, and subscribe so you never miss an episode. Also, feel free to leave a comment because we love that engagement. And who knows, maybe your comment might be featured next. You can also read my stuff on clutchpoints.com, Tiebreaker Times, and of course, FIBA Basketball. Follow me on Twitter at Hoopnut or Instagram at The Hoopnut for more content and updates. Until next time, keep betting on yourself, shooting your shot, and seizing the moment. Mabuhay ang Philippine basketball.